Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now in this video I'll be talking about blockchain use cases. So the first question is how to start a blockchain project, right? And many times whenever you want to start any kind of blockchain project, you want to understand or you want to analyze, do you really need blockchain for this project or for this use case or for this problem that you want to solve, right? So first of all, you have to define the problem that you have. And then once you start having clarity about what the problem is, you'll be able to understand whether you need to have blockchain for this project or not. So what do? Right, we go to what is called the blockchain analysis document. Right, this document basically is a series of questions which helps you analyze and understand if you need to have blockchain as a technology for this project or not. And the most important thing here is when you go through the document, you answer the questions, it will give you clarity and you'll be able to understand, yes, I need to use blockchain for this project, or no, I do not need to use blockchain for my project, right? So if you guys don't know what blockchain is as a technology, blockchain is basically the back-end technology that powers cryptocurrencies, bitcoins, tokenizations, and NFT coins, right? It's a back-end technology that allows cryptocurrency to work and to function. There's a lot of videos online about what is blockchain, but essentially, I'll just summarize it here in one sentence. Blockchain is a decentralized ledger database that stores transaction information immutably in the form of transactions in a peer-to-peer network, right? This is essential about blockchain. It's like a database. It's not exactly a database. It's like a database, a ledger that stores transactions immutably in a peer-to-peer network, right? It's what makes Bitcoin possible. It's what makes Ethereum possible. So for Ethereum and for me to send you one Ether or two Ethers, blockchain has to be there. Blockchain is technology that makes it work. Okay, so if you guys don't know, if you want more information, there's tons of videos about what blockchain is. I do encourage you to watch some of those videos just to have a deeper understanding of what blockchain is and what kind of applications you have on the blockchain. So let's go ahead and jump right in here. So for example here, what's happening here is the analysis document. So this is the document which we want to be able to answer the questions for. So I'll just go through it and then I'm going to cover a use case for it. So first of all, what area you want is your business topic about or applies to? What problem you're trying to solve? What's the value gained if you solve the problem? And then does it require a database? Most of the time you're going to say yes, it requires a database. And it says access, does it require shared read-write access? I'll explain what that is later. And then it has trust. So then number 7, you have the component. How will a blockchain be applied in this use case? Which component piece will be utilized? Will the blockchain be used to be public or private or consortium, and why? Is a token, number 9, is a token going to be used to digitize an asset, store value, or provide access to the blockchain? For example, why is it needed and how will it be used? External networks. Are there any external networks that will be used for these use cases? So what are they? If not, why does that existing infrastructure will work? Right. So these are the questions which we want to be able to answer in order to understand, do we need to use blockchain for our project or not as a technology? Okay. So let me just this is a summary of all the questions right here, which we just went over. So let me just go ahead and open a use case, an actual use case right here. So this is a use case for it's called discovery system. So the problem here is the following, right? Let me just explain what the problem that we want to solve. Problem. Retail banks have been falsifying their financial records submitting it to the central bank. So basically what happened was, and this is a very common problem in financial services, it happened many times before globally, and the problem is that the certain banks have falsified their financial records at the end of the year or end of the financial year or fiscal year. And what happened was that they submit those records for auditing, and the auditing internal auditors also falsified and approved those documents. And so what happens? It gets audited by the central bank, it gets approved, and then later on the next year, it was discovered either by a whistleblower or through media. They discover that the actual bank has falsified their records, and then the top executive go to jail, and it goes into a court case and everything else. So now the problem is this: the central bank wants to be able to prevent this from happening. So they want to understand, okay, how can we prevent central banks, or how can, as a central bank or as a central authority, you want to prevent banks from falsifying their financial records. So what can you do? So here's a problem. The central bank authority is aiming to implement improved transparency in the retail banking space. The objective is to reduce the risk of retail banks taking measures to modify their financial records that can sometimes lead to falsifying data for certain benefit. Some of the problems that the central bank faced in the past was when a retail bank falsified their financial records in order to show their target revenues were successfully reached. Different methods were used to falsify their records, and these methods were undetected by the auditors of the bank. The central bank is now considering to use innovative technologies that can help lower the rates of retail banks to use methods in falsifying data. And in the case, any such methods are used, it would be detected by the central bank, where those actors would be discovered. All right. Please describe how a blockchain solution can be used by the central bank to help address this issue. So now we're going to go through and answer the questions in this document to determine, do we need to have blockchain for this use case? Okay, so the first question is, what is a business case area or topic that this use case applies to? Financial services, right? What problem are you trying to solve? Solve the problem of reducing retail banks. I actually have a problem of using the possibility banks by their records. Right, so that's the problem which we're trying to solve, and to be able to, if they do commit any kind of financial fraud or it will be basically detected by the central bank authorities. What is the value created by solving this problem? Right, improve the reputation of the market, of the financial market, for the banks, elevate trust in the financial market system. Right, so in this case it's obvious, right? The more retail banks falsifying their records and then they get discovered by the media or by whistleblowers, it creates a negative reputation in the market on those banks and on that country. And it also impacts the reputation of the central bank in that country. Right, so this way, if we solve this problem, we improve the reputation of the financial market, the banks, and elevate the trust in the financial market system for that country, for the country. The new database will be used. Yes, a database will be used to store transactions on the system. Okay. Oops. All right. Does it require shared read-write access? yes, shared read access will be required based on the decision of the central bank. Are any of the parties unknown or untrusted, or if they are trusted, is it possible for them to have a conflicting interest? So here the question is, sometimes you have different parties who have conflicting interests. For example, the central bank might generate a report, and then let's say the Ministry of Finance might generate another report, and they're going to say their report is right. So in this case, it depends on the use case. The typical answer for this is the following. You would say, in this case, only one authority will be issuing access to the system. So no conflict of interest is expected. Okay, so what that means is this. That way, in this case, the central bank will be creating and developing the blockchain system. So it's only they are the only authority who basically has full control over that application or that system. How will the blockchain be applied in this use case? Which component will be utilized, right? So here we mentioned the following. Blockchain system to store transactions on the blockchain ledger. Okay, we will use the hashing function of the blockchain system to encrypt the transactions stored on the database. Okay, to encrypt will the blockchain be used to be public or private? Okay, private blockchain system. There is no token to be developed or distributed. So keep in mind, if it's a public blockchain, basically it means there's a cryptocurrency token. If there's no token, in this case it's a private blockchain, we're just going to be storing transaction hashes on the blockchain ledger and storing them in the database using the hashing function, which is the encryption function of blockchain. Okay, is the token going to be used? So we said no token will be used. We will use a private blockchain system to store transactions. So how would it work, right, from a perspective here, right? So how would it work? The following is this. So typically, here's how the scenario would work. The central bank would create a blockchain system. It would ask the retail banks on every month, at the end of every month, you will submit your financial records, which is like your balance sheets, your income statement for that specific month, at the 30th of the month, right? And what happens is once it stores the information directly on the database in the blockchain system at the end of the month, a committee from the central bank so here, retail banks will log into the central bank system and upload their financial records for that month. Okay. And then, so now, central bank committee will review the records, submit them. After that, every month, whenever the central bank actually looks and reviews those records, they'll be able to actually understand. They'll have a direct view about these financial statements of each bank. So what that creates is an opportunity for the central bank team to be able to review on a monthly basis the submitted financial statements from the banks. That way, let's say the retail bank submits a financial statement on October, 30th of October, right? And they look at the financial, and they look at, for example, the fixed deposit is about $10 million, right? And the following month, in November, the same bank submits their financial records to the blockchain system of the central bank. And in this month, in November, the fixed deposits suddenly is increased from 10 million, now it's about 35 million, right? In 1 month alone. Now the central bank, when they review those documents, the financial statements, they're going to ask the bank, say, hey, how come last month in October your fixed deposits was 10 million, but now in November it's 35 million? Where did this extra money come from? Open investigation, check. We need to find out what happened. Why is there such a massive increase of over 25 million in 1 month alone in fixed deposits? Who made those deposits? This way, the central bank now has direct monitoring on a monthly basis on the financial statements of the banks, and if anything that looks like an anomaly or an unknown or raises risks or red flags, the central bank authorities and the team will be able to analyze and investigate the case directly. Okay, so this is a quick overview. If you like this video, guys, I'm going to stop right here. If you like this video, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. Hit the like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your time.